Yeah, Mike is looking good. How are you guys doing? Alicia Mayo, Clari-T Media. Thank you so much for joining me here. It is warm. I am sweating as usual. Let me change positions. The mosquitoes are out. They're coming for me, so I've got to be strategic about where we are going live. And I think I've found the spot. Unless the mosquitoes follow me over here. So I hope you guys are all doing well. Today is June 19th, and we're celebrating Juneteenth in the Bay Area. San Francisco, California, we're celebrating Juneteenth. Where are you celebrating Juneteenth? Are you in the United States? And do you even celebrate Juneteenth? Okay, let me get my camera together. I know. Get off of me. I cannot stand flies. I cannot. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. So this is what happens when, production goes out of the window, and you don't really even care so much about, the details of production. Well, I used to, that's what I did for a living. That's what was important to me back in the day, but I'm somewhere else now doing something completely different. And right now, as a matter of fact, the mosquitoes are coming for me. Kind of reminds me of these hate mongers and these right wing folks and racists and Lucifer lovers or devil worshippers, as I call them sometimes. They come for us. They will still come for us, black folks, no matter where we are in the world. Okay, so thank you again for tuning in. It's Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media. Going to test my mic one more time. It looks good there. All right, so I hope you guys can hear me. When you see this, make sure you give me a thumbs up. So really quickly, I will say that I am going to go over to Facebook after this, and I'm going to include a little commentary there about Juneteenth and what it means to me. So, Juneteenth, June 19th. Well, in the past, I've always celebrated it. With my family, we celebrated Juneteenth and the freedom, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the fact that we were free as slaves. We were free to go and live out our lives the way we saw fit. So, what happened after that? Yeah, a lot of us went out to live our lives the way we saw fit. And for some of us, it didn't fit. It just didn't fit. No matter how hard we tried to make the American life fit for us, it just did not fit. So, hello, everybody. Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media. Clari-T Media is all about human stories and grassroots solutions. We can solve our own problems. So, let's analyze this Juneteenth thing. So to me, Juneteenth was about celebrating the freedom, right? But are we really free? I asked that question in my thumbnail. Let me grab my yogurt. So I asked the question, are we really free? Of course not. As long as we are bound by law to pay taxes, as long as we pay taxes for things that we don't use, that we have no good we have no reason to pay for the things that we are not able to use. Like what benefit to me is it to pay taxes? How do I benefit? Oh, really? And so you property taxes covers roads and things. Are you sure about that? Like where and how does it benefit those of us who pay taxes? Are you sure you're getting a benefit? I don't think so. I beg to differ. I beg to differ because as long as I've been alive and growing up in San Francisco, California, I could never quite get to that place, no matter what I did. I mean, I graduated from college. I was a peace loving, good kid, and then as an adult, following rules, doing what I was supposed to do in society, paying my taxes, being a mother and a wife, raising my children to be good citizens, blah, 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 blah. Contributing, putting my money in the bank, paying interest, paying fees at the banks, paying fees and interest at the mortgage companies. I mean, really living out the American dream of entrepreneurship, right? And supporting small business. My family, had small businesses. I grew up in small businesses and ran my own businesses. And I have some business cards in the stack of all of the other business cards, stacked this high. And out of all of these business cards, there are two business cards that really mattered the most to me. And those are the businesses that I created for myself. My childcare business that sustained me and my family and got us to a level of wealth that I had never seen before, working for someone else as a indentured slave. Yeah, so as far as is concerned, in my opinion, Juneteenth has never really been a reality. It's never really been a reality for the African American. There's no such thing as emancipation. Like you're free. And the folks in Texas didn't really know until, months later, like nobody was going to tell them. You're going to keep them working for little or no pay. Yeah, well, that the way that worked out should give you an idea of just, how much they cared about the slave, the chattel slave, you know. And chattel slavery still continues in the prison pipeline system, you know. They hire those young men by locking them up. They don't give them an employment contract. They don't give them, like some kind of union agreement. They lock them up and then they force them to labor. It is forced labor. It is systemic racism, systemic slavery, right? A fine-tuned system. So no, we're not free. Juneteenth is a celebration about the idea of freedom and our partial freedom and our road to freedom. That's what I think Juneteenth is all about. It's about the road to freedom and who travels that road. Who travels on that road to freedom by any means necessary. And who do you take along with you? So I consider myself an abolitionist. I consider myself a revolutionary. I definitely consider myself a freedom fighter. I love the idea of every individual man having sovereignty and the right to move freely on this earth. But, we have a long way to go. So I've posted a lot of things on my Facebook timeline about Juneteenth. I haven't included much here on YouTube because I wanted to go live and just have an in-depth conversation with you about Juneteenth and what it means to you. So if you haven't heard, Juneteenth on this day, June 19th, was the day that the United States government made it illegal to own slaves and to force people to work for free. And Texas didn't find out for 2 months that they were free, and so they worked an extra 2 months. And today they're asking for reparations. They want to get paid for that labor. Who wouldn't want to be paid for your labor? You know? And so San Francisco reparations is in in progress. I mean, we are working and fighting and speaking and uniting and spreading the word about our reports and our research and everything that we've done to really lift up the idea of true freedom and true emancipation and true sovereignty. You know, what does it really mean to be free? What does it really, really, really mean to you? It means to me that I no longer have to negotiate a salary. You know, I can name what I'm worth. I can say what I'm worth, and if it's affordable, if you can afford me, you can have my services, right? And what are my services? My services are my intellectual value, not my physical value, not whether or not I'm good for you as a concubine in your bed, man or woman for that matter. No, you're not going to use me for sex. No, we're in a different time, different era. We have choices. I'm not that girl. Now, I can't speak for the girl next door, but that's not where I'm at. Okay? So, as a woman, as an African American woman, in 2026, when I ask myself the question, what does Juneteenth mean to me? It means absolute and total freedom in 2026, freedom from any kind of bondage, power over me, over my decisions, over my freedom, total and absolute sovereignty. Well, it's a great idea, but as long as I have to pay the government for something, they control me. As long as I have to check into the government, to register my motor vehicle, they have something on me. I'm not quite free. As long as I'm dependent on the government for housing, I'm not free. If I'm dependent on the government for welfare, food aid, I'm not free. If I don't have land to grow my own food, if I don't have the ability to make my money and keep my money without paying taxes to someone else, I'm not free. Mm-mm. As long as the police can murder a brother, a husband, a friend, a nephew, a cousin of mine and get away with it, I'm not free. Mm-mm. As long as my humanity is not recognized fully and I'm still looked at as a piece of meat to use and to abuse and to chop up, dice and slice and do whatever you want to do with me, as long as I'm still seen like that, I'm not free. And because I know I'm not free, I have made the choice to move quietly, silently, intentionally, to a place where I think I can be more free. And so I'm here in Jamaica. I've left the United States. And people ask me, well, aren't you going back? I know you're going back. Well, yeah, there are some things I have to do to take care of before I shut them down completely. Because I'm really tired of playing the game of pretend like you're free when you're really not. Pretend like you're free when you're really not. You owe me money, but you want me to pay you to put my money away in your bank. And why would I put my money away in your bank? I'm getting it now. I understand the American system, the land grab, how, people rush into neighborhoods and buy up all of the land. I understand that on a broader scale. So here I am in Jamaica. I show up as an African American from the United States, and Jamaican people don't trust African Americans completely. They don't. I don't care what they say to you. They don't. And why would they? Coming over here, just like the people that they have sitting here, kind of like letting them lay over in Ocho Rios or Montego Bay on the Navy ship. You know, when people show up here in Jamaica, people want to know what you doing here. Why are you trying to link up? Well, I was on an escape mission, really. I had to get out of the United States with my life. With my life. I had to free myself from mental slavery, like Bob Marley said. Free yourself from mental slavery. We need to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. As that man in the background, Bob Marley, said, free yourself from mental slavery. That's where we're at. The mental slavery is getting to us. Like these mosquito bites are getting to me. The mental slavery is getting to us, I think, because we are disconnecting as human beings. We are fighting in the streets. And you guys see the videos, you know, I see a lot of aggressive Karens, white women. Like, what made the white woman so angry and aggressive in the day and age when she has freedom and she's been free for a long time? Or has she? And if she hasn't, if the white woman doesn't feel like she is free, get free. What are you waiting for? You have more access than we do as African Americans. So why are you fighting us so much? Why do I always see white women in the news so angry and fighting? White men, always fighting, always angry. Not always, not all of them, but a whole lot of them. Yeah, I understand times are changing and you don't know what to expect. You're afraid. You don't want people to know that you're afraid. We didn't start this shit. We didn't start it, okay? So don't look over here at African Americans and start, bullying and pulling all of the games and the tricks and stuff, okay? Because here's what will happen. Today, people don't have the patience for that. In Jamaica, we call it bad mind. But it's basically mental illness. You better know what you're up to. You better know what you're doing. You better know what the consequences are of your bad behavior, ladies and gentlemen who want to start trouble. As a Caucasian person, as a white person in the United States, if you think you're not going to see any consequences, you better think again, because the people who have been discriminated and treated unfair for all these years is more and more. It's not just blacks. It is not just us, okay? We're the least of your concerns. So just know that, if you got the attitude that white supremacy is the model for everyone else to follow, You're in for a rude awakening. You better be woke. You better be woke. You better wake up because it's a new day. It's a new day for white folks all over the United States. They say here in Jamaica that Babylon must fall. And if they ever called the United States Babylon, Babylon is falling. Sorry. Babylon is falling so much that Babylon's over here trying to negotiate with the Jamaican government. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. That's the kind of trouble the United States is in, where you have to come to a little tiny island like Jamaica and get permission to move around the waters here and to do some business. Babylon, sure enough, is falling. And I bet some of you out there can quote some Bible scripture and stuff. I'm not here to do that or to get that deep, but I am here to recognize Juneteenth 2026 and where we're at today. On my platform and on my page, I try to cover a little bit of everything, but I just want to make sure that I'm covering human stories that are relatable stories to all of us. Like somehow or another, all of us are or have been and will be affected by Juneteenth and the way the laws changed in the United States as a result of making Juneteenth an official holiday and commemorating the purpose and the meaning of Juneteenth and 4th of July for that matter. And really just recognizing the strength of African people who had to come here and find a way to migrate and to blend into society, make something of it, build businesses and families, and then buy land, acquire land, and then, build their empires that turn out to be, business culture, arts, and the arts and religion, and, even science and technology, engineering, mathematics, all of the things that we've been able to do as a people, mixing together with others, loving each other to the point where we are supporting each other. We managed to do that with nothing, coming here with nothing. Okay? And then being here and still not having much, but working from there on a framework of love, togetherness, unity, collectivity, community. We started with little or nothing. And here we are today celebrating Juneteenth. We've come a long, 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 long way. But we still have a long way to go in terms of balancing the economic status of African American people. We gave so much to the United States to receive nothing in return, because what do we have? There's a handful of us with enough to sustain our families. But what about the rest of the African American communities across our nation? So I'm speaking as a United States citizen, and I'm a lover of the United States, absolutely, and the ideal of freedom in every area of life. Freedom in every area of life. But there's a huge contradiction. I mean, people talk about freedom, talk about rights of human beings and being treated fairly, but then turn around and do something different in the dark behind closed doors. Thomas Jefferson was a great example of that. George Washington, um, even President Lincoln, great examples of hypocrites, two-faced, double double talk. You know, the things that we do to assimilate is just embarrassing at this point. Embarrassing. So I'm taking a hiatus from the United States so that I can get clear about where I am as a woman, as a single woman of color who has to find her way through this life with no help, right? But with lots of men, lots of white men, lots of white women who want to see me disappear, who don't like my sons and don't know my sons. We face that kind of, or that level of discrimination every day. We worry about those things every day. So, should we be celebrating Juneteenth, or should we still be fighting? I'm really not a fighter, I'm a lover. But if I have to fight, I will fight. I'll do my best, because with me, I hope to have an army of other people fighting for something. And when I say fighting, I don't mean physically fighting. I mean fighting for the rights of your children, fighting for your Social Security, fighting for the freedom to travel, between countries in Africa. Yeah, that's still a big problem. Just being able to travel freely. So, hell no, we're not free. No, we're not free. Not until we get ourselves free. Now, are you finally ready to be free? I left the United States. I'm trying to set myself free. I want to live freely. I don't want to answer to anyone. And I can imagine myself living here in Jamaica years ago when I first started working, People here have built their homes on the little salaries or the little pay that they get. And they go out and sell their arts and crafts, and the money that they make, they've been able to build their homes. Shelter themselves, protect themselves with a little plot of land to grow some food. That's true freedom. To create something from nothing, to have the security of knowing that the land is yours, that no one's going to kick you off of it, that you'll always have a roof over your head, you'll always have food in your belly, you have access to fresh spring water, and the gods have given us some medicinal plants, and, we're studying and understanding our own worlds, our own communities, our own history. So it wasn't too long ago that my grandfather was a sharecropper as a child. He died at 93 years old. I knew him all 53 years of my life. All 53 years of my life he spent loving me, showing me, and supporting me in my endeavor to become a United States citizen, and a woman of the world, a woman of the diaspora. So here I am today doing exactly what my grandpa and my grandma and my mom wanted for me. My father, too. My father served in the military. He was an engineer on the railroad. So I think, excuse me, I think my father definitely had dreams of emancipation and total freedom, as well as my grandfathers and my grandmothers. So here I am. I've moved to Jamaica with the idea of total sovereignty and freedom. And so I am celebrating Juneteenth. But has it been realized? Full freedom? Absolutely not. Not yet. And will we get there? I believe we'll get there. And I will add that I do agree that reparations must be paid. Reparations must be paid to the generations of African American descendants of chattel slavery, because there was work that was done, jobs were done, the country was built, the universities were built, the hospitals were built, the neighborhoods were built, all without us, with us on the fringes, with us on the margins, in the housing projects, living on top of toxic waste dump sites in Hunters Point. Being attacked as women behind closed doors while we were cleaning the homes of white women. The husbands were attacking us physically, sexually, assaulting us. We've worked many jobs for low pay, like as a news anchor in the newsroom. I was only making $30 an hour. I couldn't afford to pay my rent in San Francisco. Oh, but you wanted me to do the work for you on the radio, reporting to millions. Millions. 13 million, I think it was, overnights. Or was it 3 million? Am I putting 10 on 3? But to pay me only $30 an hour in 2017, 2018 is disgusting. It's embarrassing. As a radio news anchor for CBS Radio in San Francisco, $30. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even $30 an hour. It was $29 and I think 95 cents per hour as a news anchor on the radio, where you could listen and hear my voice after I produced all of the content, put all of the stories together, wrote the stories, you know. Yeah, so Juneteenth is nice and everything. It's a nice way to just chill and relax and think about things. But when I think about things, I get a little depressed. It's a little sad. So what do I do? Are we celebrating Juneteenth, really? Yeah, I guess we need to. We need to celebrate it, and we need to celebrate it until July 4th, like the mother of Juneteenth, as they call her, as she said. She put it. She believes that we should be celebrating Juneteenth from June 19th until the 4th of July. I say we celebrate it year round, all year round. Because the fact of the matter is we want to monitor it. We want to be transparent about Juneteenth and the idea of freedom, you know, like environmental justice. I listened to a conversation with the director of the Harrison Foundation, you know, for environmental justice in San Francisco out of Hunters Point. Ariane Harrison uh, has been tested for toxic levels in her body as a result of the toxic waste left behind by the United States Navy at the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, where my grandfathers worked and where my mom worked. Yeah, my grandfather had prostate cancer, my mom has metastatic cancer. The cancers run in the family, the learning disabilities run in the family, the small infant birth rates. I've had 2 premature children. I still have asthma today, and I was never able to correct my learning disabilities, but I did find some ways around them, and I eventually graduated at 50 years old from college. I earned a bachelor's degree. So, to Lenice Jones, who made fun of the fact that I didn't have a master's degree, when you don't know a person's full story, you should never open your mouth to say things like, well, I could see if you had a master's degree, you might be worth more salary. That's what she said to me, and she is the director of the Peralta Colleges Foundation. Test me, try me. I can prove that. I can prove it. And that's a black woman. So you see, we're our worst enemies, our own worst enemies. How, in fact, can we celebrate Juneteenth when we can't even celebrate a collective, unified, collaborative, collective group, association, whatever you want to call it? We don't work together. We talk about each other, say nasty things about each other, we gossip about each other. We compare our livelihoods, our money to others, and we judge and disrespect each other. So when it's time to party and celebrate Juneteenth in the streets, really, you won't see me out there with you because I'm over here being mindful, thinking critically about how I can continue to contribute to the causes of freedom on every level, on every front. Sankofa, may the fight continue. I love you guys. Let's continue to work together. For those of you who really want to work together, let's continue to work from mutual respect, appreciation, from a clear and awake position. No, we're not asleep anymore. And yes, it's okay to be woke. Wake the hell up, because America, Babylon, as they call it here, Bob Marley, as Bob Marley called it, Babylon must fall. It is falling. It has fallen and can't get up. Needs everybody around them to help them get up. So they must do something in order to receive the help that they want. The United States, it's time to give it up. It's time to pay those people back. Pay us what you owe us. Give us the land that we worked and fought for. In war, Spanish War, yes, we were there. The Civil War, yes, we were there. The Korean War, yes, we were there. World War II, yes, we were there. The French War, yes, we were there. So, yeah, Afghanistan and this third world war in Iraq. Yes, we have been there. My cousin Alex is there, 82nd Airborne paratrooper. My grandfather, sadly James McGee, United States Navy. My other grandfather, Harrison Williams, United States Army. My dad, United States Army, Vietnam, World War II, Korea. Man, we have given so much in my family. And then turned around, came home, was disrespected, threatened, and killed, beaten, dragged and kicked, spit on, and sexually assaulted, to still be politely speaking and not slapping the shit or beating or whooping some. Nah. We go high when they go low, as Michelle Obama said. We go high when they go low. So that's what I'm doing. Gonna go high and going to keep it real and say that I am not celebrating Juneteenth at this point because uh, the idea and the fairy tale of freedom is not a reality. And that is why I left to come here and live here in Jamaica. And until we get honest with ourselves and truthful about the reality, we cannot move forward. We just, it's like, no, we can't skip chapters. We have to go through this tough period right now where we have to really demand and fight more. We have to lose more people, maybe, lose more voices, but I hope that the youth will pick up the torch. So that's it. Those are my editorial comments on Juneteenth 2026. I'm over here in Jamaica. I'm happy to be here because I think, without the freedom in the United States, I would not have been able to move over here. I will admit that. To have a passport, a United States passport, is a privilege. I will celebrate that. I will celebrate the fact that I have been able to make, money, and I have been able to get an education, and I had ancestors and elders that fought for me. I will celebrate that. I will acknowledge those people before me, my grandmothers, my mom, who did what they had to do in order for me to be here free without some man hovering over me, telling me what to do and when to do it. As if my life depends on them and only them. There were some women who didn't have choices like me, who fought for this freedom. And I appreciate them. I appreciate them. It's no small thing. I do appreciate them. Okay, so the mosquitoes are really getting me. This is the time of the evening when they bite. Yes. So, turn this camera around. And I want to thank you again for joining me for this live conversation on Juneteenth. What it means to me. Are we free? Yeah, to a degree. Freedom was on the horizon. I feel more free. I am able to breathe. I am able to choose. I am able to do more than the women who came before me. And I am grateful. Very grateful. Grateful for you. And I am grateful for the opportunity to pave the way for my grandson and any other offspring that come after him. All right, everybody. Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media. Out of chaos comes clarity. And Clari-T Media is about human stories and grassroots solutions. How we manage to make our way out of tragedy, the tragedy of slavery. Nothing good about it because it could have been done in a whole different way. Could have been done with more respect, more consideration, you know, with better business approach. That's what I think. Yeah, slavery was bound to happen, but it could have been done. Could have been done with more consideration. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna hang up for now. See you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love all of you. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, please. Thank you. God bless.